I'd like to start this video with a brief warning. This may be a difficult historical segment to get through. On May 6, 2023, a mass shooting occurred at the Allen Premium Outlets, an outlet center in Allen, Texas, United States. The shooter, 33-year-old Mauricio Martinez Garcia, was a far-right extremist whose extensive online writing showed that he self-radicalized, adopting and promoting white supremacist, neo-Nazi, and incel ideologies, and posting hateful comments against women, Jews, and racial minorities in the lead-up to the attack. He committed the massacre while wearing a tactical vest embroidered with a RWDS, or Right-Wing Death Squad, patch, and his body was tattooed with fascist symbols including SS lightning bolts and a large swastika. The shooting began on May 6, 2023 at 3:36 p.m. Wearing black tactical gear, the shooter exited a silver sedan and shot into a crowd outside the mall. The gunman shot 15 people within 3 or 4 minutes. Witnesses said the shooter appeared to be firing indiscriminately and fired dozens of shots. A store employee recounted that those running from the shooter alerted others of the shooting and helped shelter customers and employees in the back rooms of the store. A military veteran attempted to give CPR to at least 3 of the victims and recounted that many victims were rushed to a hospital as they were unable to be triaged at the site due to the severity of the injuries. Garcia posted neo-Nazi and white supremacist content and expressed hatred against Jews, women, and racial minorities in the days and weeks leading up to the massacre. In different posts, he shared content and posted quotations from far-right sources including 4chan and the Daily Stormer. He praised other mass shootings such as the perpetrators of the 2023 Nashville school shooting and the 2014 Isla Vista killings, uploaded photographs of the outlet mall site 3 weeks before the attack, and fantasized about race wars and the collapse of society. In some posts, he identified himself as an incel. Garcia may have selected the platforms because they have almost no content moderation. His final note on the platform shortly before the mass shooting bore resemblances to a suicide note. The Washington Post noted that the message included more than 500 words of violent, hateful fantasies, self-aggrandizement, and pop culture references, such as references to South Park, other television shows, and films. 9 people were killed, including the shooter. The victims killed were Kyu Song Cho, 37, Shin Young Kang, 35, James Cho, 3, Aishwarya Thatikonda, 27, Daniel Mendoza, 11, Sophia Mendoza, 8, Christian Lacour, 20, Elio Kumana Rivas, 32. A vigil was held on May 7th at 5 p.m. at the Cottonwood Creek Baptist Church, with Governor Greg Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick in attendance. A makeshift memorial for the victims was erected near the mall, with crosses installed in honor of the deceased by artist Roberto Marquez, who had erected crosses at other mass shooting locations. On May 8th, the Texas House of Representatives Select Committee on Community Safety voted 8-5 to advance a bill to raise the age to buy AR-15 style rifles from 18 to 21, with 2 Republicans joining, all Democrats in support. The bill was considered to have been unlikely to be successful in the Texas Senate. However, it never made it to the Senate, as the Calendars Committee of the House left the bill off the schedule, preventing it from being voted on by the full House. Representative Keith Self, a Republican whose congressional district includes Allen, dismissed the calls for gun laws after the shooting and blamed mass shooting on people with mental health issues that we're not taken care of. When asked about people's claims that prayers do not prevent mass shootings, Self responded, "Those are people that don't believe in an almighty God who is absolutely in control of our lives. I'm a Christian. I believe that he is." For those who wish to donate, I'll leave a link to a few anti-assault weapon grassroots campaigns in the description. Please consider it, and I'm sure you're all primed and ready for a television review now. Adolescence is a 4-part limited series that tracks the arrest of 13-year-old Jamie Miller, Owen Cooper, for the murder of one of his classmates. Each episode is filled in a one take and broadens the scope of the crime and its aftermath, the first episode centering on Jamie's arrest, the second following the detectives as they go to Jamie's school, the third on a session between Jamie and a child psychologist, and the last episode focuses on Jamie's family members as the emotional turmoil of his actions unravels them months after his arrest. I was a little late to this show, obviously. It came out of nowhere and started getting some reviews that really caught my eye. Good reviews are natural, they happen, but stuff like masterpiece and the best show on Netflix are actually not adjectives that are thrown around as much as you think. Especially for a show I hadn't heard about. Thank you, Netflix streaming model. I was excited to see what all the buzz was. Of course, when I found out these episodes were all shot in one take, I realized what was going on. The idea of shooting something in one take isn't a new concept, but a television show with 4 subsequent one-shot hour-long episodes certainly is. These are the kind of technical advancements that keep the medium going, and especially for television, it marks a real blur between what it and cinema are capable of. I know television has improved a lot technically over the years, but the idea that something like this would come out in 2015 is ludicrous. I mean, hell, it was around that time that Birdman broke the culture for doing it in film. But I think in order to dissect this show properly, you have to dig deep into this gimmick, why it works, why it doesn't work, because when you use the one-shot concept, that's inevitably going to be front and center. I've talked in previous videos about how I appreciate an approach to editing that keeps scenes going on for longer, that hesitates to change shots, because there's a certain tension and intimacy you can get by being patient. It shows confidence in your shot selection, and it gives your actors a chance to bite their teeth and give you that extra 10%. So the natural escalation to that is, well, what if we never cut away? What if we show you the scene and we never let you go? And I think that's a fundamental advantage to the one-shot style, that by never cutting, you're able to more easily build tension, and without the crux of an edit, it forces the cast and crew to up their game. My favorite thing about art, though, and what makes it so endlessly exciting, is that it's never that simple. Just because you have a one-shot, it doesn't mean you're going to get that tension or those performances. In this miniseries, of course you do, but there are a few minor issues that I had with the camera work that I think should be addressed. Before I get into that, I do want to mention I think the show is really, really good. Essentially, if I don't mention something, it means I think it's great. And I'll get into the great stuff, I promise. We all know that Owen Cooper's coming soon. But one of the issues I had with the camera work on this show is actually a very similar issue I had with a previous one-shot benchmark, 1917. Do we remember 1917? Roger Deakins, one of the greatest cinematographers of all time, war epic about World War I. It got a lot of traction at the time, and it almost ended up winning Best Picture over Parasite in 2019. Well, one of my hottest takes in the film world right now is not only that that movie was bad, I didn't like it, but not only that, I think a major reason it was bad was because the camera work wasn't good. I know it feels like a blasphemous take, but let me explain myself a little. While I thought the job was excellent on a technical level, it felt to me like more of a distraction from the story than it did an enhancement.
I don't think you're giving us our due credit. Our scientists have done things which nobody's ever done before.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should.
To me, it trivialized the suffering these characters were going through and made their adversity feel inauthentic. It was too theatrical and less real. And so I think that film is a good metric for me of the danger of a one-shot production. Did I have that level of issue with this cinematography? Absolutely not. I thought it was very good, but there were some instances where it skewed that way. Moments where you could tell by the nature of what they were trying to accomplish that these scenes didn't exactly feel real. They felt a little scripted. And that's the innate constriction with these one-shot stories, is that there's no room for human variety. Also, when it comes to the show in particular, I felt a certain anxiety to keep the camera moving, which made it difficult to sink my teeth into a scene and get a grip of the surroundings. I would just love to see a one-shot have the gall to sit still for a while, like 5 minutes at least. It could really enhance the atmosphere, and when you do notice the movement, it'll cause you to sit up in your seat because you're thinking, wow, I actually forgot this was all in one shot. I have to qualify this complaint though, because while I think it would be improved upon my suggestion, at the same time it is clear to me that the movement makes this piece of media more palatable to a wider audience and was instrumental in its success. As much as I don't like to admit it, that means something, and it's hard for me to think of that movement as a mistake. Despite all my complaints though, I really thought the camera work was interesting in some places. It was cohesive and engaging, and it seemed to bring the best out of its actors. The actors actually, I would go so far to say, make this show the blockbuster that it is. Stephen Graham is a name I have to admit I haven't been all too familiar with, save one exception, which is a very important exception, and that would be the film Boiling Point from 2021. Boiling Point is actually another one-shot production, a film that chronicles the opening day of a restaurant and the stresses that come with this production. I'd say if you're a fan of The Bear, you should absolutely check out this movie. It's a phenomenal ride. I think the showrunners of The Bear are fans of it too, if I had to guess. They take a lot from that movie atmospherically. But anyway, the point is, Stephen Graham in that one movie I've seen of his proved to me everything I needed to know about him. His skill, his energy, his presence, all of these things that make him a good performer. In a way, although he was only in 2 episodes really, he felt like the backbone of this show, and he had the emotional gravitas to lock in with the audience. I can absolutely see why they casted him as well, because he brings with him experience acting in one-shot productions that I'm sure would have been helpful to the rest of the cast and crew who were trying to do something that had never been done before. Ashley Walters is also an excellent lead investigator. He brought a natural stoicism that allowed us to see the story through his eyes. He didn't do too much when he didn't have to, and I think that patience is a sign of a mature actor and a mature performance. There's actually a million actresses and actors I could list. There were no weak links, and they all performed incredibly well. But we all know who the standout was. Owen Cooper, who as far as I know doesn't have a single acting credit to his name, gave a performance that was layered, emotionally provocative, nuanced, and impossible to take your eyes off of. It's one of the greatest child performances of all time, and undoubtedly the largest reason for the success of this show. To do the kind of stuff he was doing with no experience, it feels like a young sports team going to the Super Bowl because they don't understand how hard it is. His anger, his fear, his repression of both of those things, they are what gave his character an added layer of depth. And looking back, it's going to be his performance that sticks around after everything's said and done. But I think at the end of the day, this is actually a dialogue-driven show. The actors do their scenes, and they do them well, but the story progresses in a way that puts you in the middle of the tension and shows you every facet of what's going on. Actually, that's the best part to me, the decision of what to write about. For a show to allow itself to forget certain characters for long periods of time, to hint at the incel ideology that permeates the school system, to show Cooper's character in a way that both lets you understand what's happened without sympathizing with them, it just took a 3-dimensional approach that didn't rely on easy conclusions. Because of what happened, everything's changed, and nothing will stay the same. It does a great job of showing how the event took place, but prefers to focus more on the emotional drama than the actual outcome. It was a mature style of writing, a confident style of writing, and one that set up all the performers to succeed. So yeah, I thought this miniseries was successful on a multitude of different levels. I may have had some problems with its authenticity, but I had absolutely none about its writing capability or its performances. It's a very timely film about a very important topic, and I think more than ever algorithms are hurting the minds of children, especially corroding the minds of young boys who are at an impressionable age. I think this show may age gracefully as time goes on as well, because it's possible that things are going to get a lot worse before they get better as far as incel pipelines are concerned. I'll give this show a Lionturtle, and if you're looking for a quick binge, I think I have exactly what you're looking for. Before I go, I just want to say a quick thank you for watching this video. It means a lot, especially for a small channel, for you to like and subscribe, or to comment. Whether you liked the video or didn't, I just feel happy that you decided to watch as much of the video as you did, and if you want to check out more videos like this, there's a whole library of film reviews that you may want to check out. So I will see you in the next video, and I wish you the best on your demons today.